Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's get this party started. Week 9, Philadelphia. Oh, no. Flying high with the birds. Philadelphia Eagles talk. With me are the podcast chaplain, Jimmy. How are you?
Boys, what's going on? How are you?
Really good. Something that the Eagles were not doing yesterday, sealing the deal. Will seal the deal. Sealy, how are you?
I'm doing good. I think I'm adding a win to my record today.
Oh, yeah, that's the big news today. And
He's off the schneid.
That's correct. And the Armenian hammer.
Hi guys, how's
How are
everybody?
you? Good, we're good. This is the Godfather here. We're in week 9. The Eagles lose to the Washington Commanders on Monday Night Football, 30-21. Some astonishing numbers here. The Commanders ran 51 plays and the Eagles 19 plays in the first half. The Eagles defense just couldn't get off the field most of the game. And Washington had actually 4 drives of over 13 plays or more, which just kept the defense on the field the entire time. And I'm really beginning to believe that a lot of the teams are now being able to contain Jalen Hurts on his runs because he's not running a lot and he didn't have his best game. But all in all, it was a very difficult game. There was some crucial, crushing either interceptions or penalties that killed Philly. They could have won it at the end. I'm going to start it with Vahe because you were at the game last night. What did you witness and what did you think?
I guess talking about the game last night, the Commanders wanted them more than the Eagles, believe it or not. And I don't know, maybe the quarterback was playing for his job because I think Wentz is ready to come back. But our defense, I mean, they didn't have it at all. I mean, constantly going, getting first down, one after the other, and it was unbelievable. It's like basically torture. It was complete torture. The second and the third quarters. The fourth quarter, they stopped them a couple of times, but the second and third quarter, oh my God, it was like forever. I kept looking at the clock, and it was like 5 minutes. I said, take me out of my misery. This is like unbelievable. And they didn't do anything. I mean, defense. And they couldn't even adjust. I mean, towards the fourth quarter, I don't know, but I mean, they couldn't adjust for like stupid runs. And you can tell, like every time it was like a 3rd and 2, they were going to get a first down. 3rd and 3, they were going to get a first down. There was no question. Everybody knew what was coming.
Yeah, it sounded like they took the crowd out of the game right away, converting all those 3rd downs.
Yep, it's like unbelievable. He wouldn't blitz at all. There was a couple of situations it was like a 3rd and 5, right? He wouldn't even blitz, and they would get the first down. I mean, it's not the rocket science. I don't understand why he doesn't blitz.
Yeah, the whole team came out flat, and it was so obvious right from the beginning. And if you remember, when we played them the first time, we were great in the first half, and then the second half, they started eating away at the score and made a good game. They came out right where they left off the previous game, and they dominated us in the first half and into the third quarter. They dominated us pretty much the whole game. We came out flat and we just weren't ready for it.
I mean, every week I ask the same question over and over. I don't understand what's so special about Gannon. I mean, I don't get it. I mean, what does this guy he's so talented or so, sought after guy. He only plays his own defense. That's it.
He had no answers yesterday at all. 0 answers. For a basic, high school running attack team. That's all they were doing is they were just running at us.
Well, I think that the Eagles' problem is more than the defensive coordinator. And I've said this for the last 4 or 5 weeks. I think it's their defensive line. They're not getting pressure and they're not really containing the run. So, I think the problem's with the defensive line.
Jordan
Fletcher
Davis,
Cox,
I think
listen.
Jordan Davis, you guys gonna realize Jordan Davis, the
Well,
bigger loss.
yeah, he is a big loss, but think about this. He's only been averaging about 22 plays a game.
That's another question.
wasn't-
Why he wasn't playing more?
Why? Because he wasn't in shape. So that's a big thing. Like, why can't the guy be in shape? He's already into his, like, he went through camp. He's in 8 weeks already. You know,
Yeah,
I
but
know
all
he's
those
out
cheese-
for a while.
All those cheesesteak places around the city, it's gonna be hard.
I just don't get if a guy is just not in shape enough to be able to play more than 22 plays. I don't care how big he is. If
Did
he's
he
not
have a
ready to
history-
go, that's it. Maybe. I don't
Didn't he
know.
have a
I-
history like that in college? Like, I know, like, they were up most of the game, so he didn't play the majority of the snaps, but like, wasn't there rumors that like he was always out of shape in college conditioning?
Yeah, but
no.
come on. I mean, you're right, Jim. But one guy is one guy. You're in the NFL. You have a team of 11 guys out there. You got to still be able to stop the run. You know, it
Right.
just if it doesn't fall on one guy, you can't get beat off the ball like they were getting beat off.
Right.
They were getting pushed back 3 yards every single snap. There was no
Yeah.
push. There was no battle at the line of scrimmage. You could see it right in the interior of the line. They were getting thrown back. It's an easy 3 yards.
They
You know
just
what?
they came out to
It's
play.
not just that. I mean, next week I think it's going to be the offense going to have problems because
Well-
Goddard is going to be out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
he
Jonathan
was-
Davis ran for 200 yards last
Yeah.
week against the
Yep.
Raiders. So
Yep.
that could be a big thing. But I mean, let's just take a look at some of the things that just killed the Eagles in this game. The Watkins fumble, that was huge. I don't, if he doesn't fumble, I think they win the game.
Mhm.
But
I agree.
it-
I said that was a
it-
turning point of the game.
yeah, it was. But if they win the game, we wouldn't be happy. We'd be saying that they should have lost the game because they should have lost the game, no matter if they won it or they didn't win it. But
Even the Goddard one, the one with the face mask, that was another momentum changer too.
It
Because they
was-
were driving, and I thought they were
Yeah.
going to score, and it was only 2-point differential at that point,
yes.
and they were
That's
going to
all it
score a
was.
touch. Yeah,
And it's a shame because Goddard got hurt from the face mask being grabbed, and it was so obvious. I don't know if anybody saw the game. I was actually watching it from a down view this afternoon, and there was a ref like kind of right on the play. He was like on the sideline. I don't know what he was looking at, but it was real obvious. But then again, you know, calls are missed, and I know when they looked at the play again, it wasn't to look at the penalty because they can't reverse penalties. So it is what it is, and they have to live, you know, they have to live without it. Garner Johnson and the late hit that they said he had out of bounds, that was absolutely not out of bounds.
no, he was still inbound.
That was a bad call. He had a pretty good game. He played pretty physical last night.
What, he had
Besides the pick,
6 interceptions in his last like 5 games or
Yep.
something like
yep, he leads the
That's-
NFL in interceptions right now. So he has been a real pleasant surprise. And Brandon Graham's personal foul on Heineke, that was just, I don't know what he's thinking. He should know better. That was a momentum changer too. So he had a lot of things that happened against the Eagles that were really bad, and some of them were caused by the officiating. But either way, they deserved to lose the game, and I also think that they were outcoached. Did any of you guys? I saw it. I know Vahe, you probably didn't see it because you were at the game live. But Will and Jimmy, did you take a look when the half ended? Did you take a look at Sirianni?
that. Yeah, I'll
He
fire it
was
up. He
pissed.
threw his headset.
He was pissed, and you could tell that he was going to go inside and throw the F-bomb around. And I felt like everybody else that they were just going to come out and play better in the second half. And I think they did. And I think they did make adjustments because Heineke wasn't as good.
No,
in the
they came
second.
back. They came back. They had the ball in the second half. They came in 1, 2, 3, and there was a punted ball.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, but
And then
think,
Washington went right down the field. I think scored again.
yeah, but actually,
Yeah.
if you-
It was
if
like
you
the end
look
of the first half the same way too. They got that field goal with as time expired, right?
yeah, he had
First-
he was a player of the game. He was 4 for 4.
Because I think before the half, there was, I think, 2 minutes or something left. And I thought the Eagles, they're going to drive down and they're going to score a touchdown. And they're going to get the ball in the second half. They're going to score a touchdown again. And then that's basically going to be over. But they
Yeah.
couldn't do anything before the half. And they came back after the half. They couldn't do anything. And then just, and
I agree 100%. Here's one I'm going to throw at all three of you. Do you guys think that AJ Brown was healthy last night?
Well, he tweaked his ankle at the beginning, the first play or
Yeah, he
the
got
first
hurt.
catch. The first catch.
Yeah.
They're saying he's probably not going to practice much this week, but he still might be able to play next week.
Well, I'll
But
tell you,
he's
anything
not
with the
gonna get a
foot
lot
is
of practice.
dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah, the ankle. He twisted the ankle. You can see it on the field when he
Yeah.
hobbled.
Yeah. Now I know last night when we were texting, Will, you were saying, "Oh, way to throw in a double coverage when they picked that ball, where there were two guys that were covering Brown." If you look at that play again, I think it was more Hurts underthrowing it just a little
Slightly,
bit.
yeah.
I think if he put a little bit more under that ball, Brown has it. Brown
maybe he
kind of
does.
had a step on those guys. It would have been a beautiful play.
But the
He might
Watkins pass was unbelievable, and the idiot just fumbled the ball.
Yeah. The guy snuck up right from behind him and got him.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, think about this. I know he really wants to make a play. What's he got, like 6 catches all year? And that just got to be so like disheartening to be able to do something. He was our leading receiver yesterday. I think he had 87 yards on 4 catches or like something like that, which is
Yeah,
really
that play
good.
was 50, I think, alone.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
on that Brown pass, I mean, Hurts has to look off the safety. He didn't look him off at all, and the guy just dropped right into coverage. I mean, that's why there was double coverage. If he looked him off, he would have had Brown open a little more.
Yeah. But, Will, you called it last week where you didn't have a good feeling about this game. I didn't feel that way at all. I really felt like the Eagles, I felt like they were going to, there was going to be a dogfight in the first quarter. And I just felt like the Eagles, the players are just going to play a lot. They're just much better players than Washington's players. But I'll tell you, I like Washington's defense. I love their defensive line. And I don't think their offensive line is that bad either, or their offensive line. So to me, it looked like they kind of controlled the line of scrimmage on both ends. I don't know what you guys
Let
think.
me ask you a question. As a philosophy, why doesn't Gannon blitz at all? Or if he blitz once or twice, that's it. Why? I mean, what's his
afraid to
thing?
get beat. He's afraid to get beat deep.
Well,
but
you
I
had two. You had 2 number 1 quarterbacks, Slay and Bradbury. I mean, they're like the best in the league.
But Slay, I mean, he gets torched by that guy last year and this year. He's
McLaren's a flyer.
Yeah.
He was a
open
4-3
all
guy.
night. He was open all night last night.
last year and this year, he's had Slay's number. Slay can't cover him 1-on-1. I don't.
No, I mean,
Slay is
and
very
nobody
good, but
really can. Nobody really can. That's the way that I look at it. But if you look at their plays, we were talking before we got on here that Washington only averaged 3.8 yards per rush.
No, 3.5.
How
They
much?
were-
Okay,
They were averaging
3.5.
3.5.
Okay, 3.5. But they just kept running the ball, and
Yeah, because
there were never any
3.5
negative
times
yards.
3 is 10.5.
But what they were doing, what I saw, this is what I saw. It looked like they were going with a lot of 12 personnel, and they would do like a run and then another run, and then it would be play action. And the play action was killing them in the first half. And they were hitting the outside routes. And then they did make adjustments. Gannon did make adjustments in the second half by taking away the outside, but then the middle was open a little bit. But Heineke was nowhere near as good in the second half. And I think that the problem, I just don't know if this comes down to coaching. I think it's the pressure that the defensive line is getting. Like, look at these guys across the front. I know Josh Sweat had a strip sack to start the game last night. He didn't do anything the rest of the game.
Yeah,
If
but
you guys, but wait a minute, if you guys would have watched and just focused the entire game on Fletcher Cox, that guy is stealing $14 million for just standing up and doing nothing. I don't care what anybody says, but my attitude, my feeling on him is that I feel like he comes into some games saying, you know what? I don't think I'm going to give full effort today. And he just don't, I don't know. I know he's older and all, but he is not worth starting. He was a waste yesterday. And even the last 2 weeks, he had a decent start, but I think he's really a problem. And Sweat, I really do like Josh Sweat. And he has some really nice sacks. But if you look after that play, he was virtually taken out of the rest of the game, And he's an edge guy. So he doesn't always contain the edge and he gets pushed around a lot. So I just had to say that about the defensive line. Right now, to me, that is the Achilles heel of this football team.
I just think Gannon.
No,
needs
it's a run.
to-
It's a run defense.
Well,
It's-
no, it's the defensive line can't stop the run.
The run. That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think Gannon needs to run more stunts. You can't just line up and just tell your guys to just go. Like, I mean, there has to be some kind of scheme. And
You know,
some kind of
it's
stunts
so
to
funny. I mean,
generate
you can watch the
pressure.
game. It would be like a 3rd and 1, right? And you see like 3 linemen, and they have like 4 behind them. The guy can run through that 3 guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand what they're thinking. Why don't
Well-
you block? Put everybody on the line, challenge them to get that 1 yard. The way
Yeah.
they set up, you can easily get the 1 yard. No questions asked.
No, I agree, but they don't. Who's their nose right now? Is it Tui Peloto? I guess is the nose. He didn't have his best game, but he really wasn't meant to be a starter in this league. So you got a guy that's really a 4th or 5th round draft pick from last year, who was inactive for almost every single game last year. That's starting now. You got the 1st round draft pick that's only averaging a little over 20 plays a game, and now he's got a high ankle sprain and he's out for 6 weeks. You got Hargrave, who really is. I don't think he likes playing a nose. I think he likes playing more like the 3 technique, where he's on an angle, and that's why he's so effective with the pass rush. But he's not a true nose. So I think that has really, and that's why they drafted Davis to be that guy. So right now, like, who are the guys on the front line? I mean,
Are you guys
who are
telling me
they?
that we're gonna use a 4th pick to pick a nose guard?
Could be. No, it could be. I don't know.
No, but where are the linebackers too? Like, they're not filling any of the gaps. I mean, you got to come up and fill the gaps on the run.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, probably
Linebackers go
that's
hand
the
in
scheme.
hand.
Probably
Yeah.
that's a scheme. Probably that's on Gannon, right?
Yeah, when you're talking about the run, I mean, the linebackers go hand in hand with the defensive line. They got to work
I mean,
together.
didn't you guys see that? I mean, when they line up, right? There's only have 3 guys in the front, and they have 4 guys behind, and it'd be like a 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 2, right? How are you going to stop the run with those 3 guys in the front? I mean,
They only
They
did that a
don't.
couple of times. I think that Washington thought that they wanted Washington to think that they were going to go with a 4 or 5 man front. In the last second, they changed the scheme to a 3-4, and then
well, with
they
the
were
running
guessing.
play, does it really
it's always-
matter?
Well, the bottom line is this: Scott Turner and Jack Del Rio, the coordinators for Washington, I think that had a great game plan for this game,
Mhm.
and they got the players to buy in. Like Jack Del Rio was a head coach in this league, and he's always been a motivator. So yeah, I mean, Jimmy, you remember Del Rio back when he was coaching with Jacksonville. He had a
Yeah,
couple
he was
of
a
really
head coach
good
at
years.
Jacksonville, right?
He was a hell of a coach. He was a
Steve
hell of a
Turner,
player.
Steve Turner's the son of North Turner,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, he
So-
had a very good game plan for
Yeah.
that day.
So-
Now, go ahead, Jim.
Is that like the blueprint how to beat the Eagles? Just
Yeah,
Keep
keep
running
running,
the ball.
keep running. keep
That
running.
was going to be my next question.
this is why I'm afraid of the 49ers. I've been saying for weeks, like 49ers will hold the ball the whole half.
Well, you got the 49ers, you got Jonathan Taylor next week. You
Right.
got the guys
I'm
from
like-
Dallas. You got Barkley coming up. You got all these big running
We got a
backs.
lot of good running backs for playing. Dillon and Jones from Green Bay.
Well, I'm beginning to think the blueprint to beat the Eagles is take away. This is my feeling. Take away the time of possession for the Eagles. If you could take away, if your advantage could be the time of possession, you can win the ball game. That's the
That's
way
the
I
way
look.
that's the way New England won the first Super Bowl against St. Louis, because St. Louis was like a high-powered offense, and they kept running and running and running, and they won the game like what 2017 or something like that. Remember
Yeah,
the
Yeah, well,
first?
they were
yeah,
very
first
physical.
time.
I mean, defensively, they played very physical in that game. But it's when you have it, and I hate to keep pounding this point, but when you have a defensive line that's not getting enough pressure and they're not getting off the field with all these running plays, it plays into the hands of the offensive coordinator for the other team that wants to have the advantage of time of possession.
Yep.
That's what it boils down to when it's all said and done. And the Eagles have to do something about this. But I tell you, my opinion is you got guys on that front line that I am starting to get a little bit worried about. I mean, Tui Piloto is okay, but he's just okay. Milton Williams, he's okay. He's having a decent year. I don't know if he's worthy of being, has he played like a.
How about Fletcher Cox? How about Fletcher
Oh,
Cox?
God, I don't even want to talk about him. Honestly, my prediction originally was that he wasn't even going to be on this team halfway through the season. And he did have his, but if you guys get a chance, watch the down view of the game and watch how he just literally is just getting pushed all over the place. I can't imagine if a guy plays that bad, what it's like when you go look at the film the next day with the whole team. And the whole team is watching somebody get pushed all over the place. So
was
I
there
don't know.
anybody not getting pushed out of the line?
Well, I mean, Washington definitely was winning the line of scrimmage. There's no doubt about it. But there's a difference between getting beaten the line of scrimmage and getting pushed all over the place. So I don't know. Listen. My opinion is Cox has been stealing money for the last 2 years, and I think yesterday when I watched that, I just was making me sick. I just felt like there's nobody else they could put in at this point. I don't know. But
I mean, any team coming to play the Eagles, they don't have to pass the ball. Just keep running. Just run.
Yeah.
60 minutes. Just keep running.
I just
You're
run the
gonna
whole
win.
time.
well, wait a minute. What about this point? Miles Sanders had what? He had one carry in the first half.
Yeah, they start with Scott.
Don't,
They start
don't get me started with it. You guys saw my text yesterday. I can't stand how we just don't ever use one of our best players. It makes zero sense to me.
So
He's a
that's
weapon. They don't give him
that's
a ball.
game calling. That's the
Yeah.
game calling. Why? Like, what was it? Like, Washington threw the ball, like they ran the ball like 90% of the time. The Eagles were throwing the football 90% of the time in the first half. Like, did they think they were just going to beat them just throwing the ball? Washington has two really good cover cornerbacks.
Why can't you just slow the game up for them too? Just pound
That's
the ball the whole game, and then when you finally take the lead, they're going to have to get out of the running game, or maybe you push them to get out of the running game because they're worried about keeping up the score.
Now, it's so funny. I mean, the thing is that I don't know whether every week they sit down and they identify a player that they're going to get most of the catches or most of the runs. Because while I was driving to the game, Ike Reese was on the radio, and he said, this week it's Devonta Smith's turn to get the ball. And, you know, he was getting most of the throws too. Obviously, he didn't have too many of them.
Well, look
But,
at the game he had against Washington the first time.
First time.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So,
plus, it was his birthday.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the thing is that I don't know why they keep Gannon around. I don't understand the reason. I mean, he's not really that good. They have a lot
I'm
of talent.
beginning. You know what? I'm not so sure it's Gannon. And think about this. They were giving up less than 20 points just about every game this season.
Yeah, because the offense was constantly had the ball.
And who are they really playing? Like beginning of the year, like our schedule hasn't been the
Yeah.
toughest, right?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Jordan Davis is a big loss. I mean, maybe
Yeah, I
he's
agree.
overweight and whatever. He's a huge loss. Because
He
the thing
a
is
huge
that
loss, but he's only playing 20. He's only averaging 20 to 25
all you
plays
need
a
to
game.
do is stop the run. Even with those 20 plays, stop the run so you can get the ball back and start, doing your own thing on the offense.
He's a big body out there.
Yeah, exactly. Right
Yeah.
now they don't have anybody.
Here's a one for you. Do you guys feel like a lot of the defensive coordinators now have a handle on containing Hurts running the football? Or do you think maybe he's a little slower than he was before? I don't know. I
don't think they lost the game yesterday because of him.
No, I'm just saying, no, he's not run the football. There's not
Because
many
they're telling him
runs.
not to run. Are you kidding me? Did you see Josh Allen on Sunday? That guy's a train wreck waiting to happen. That guy's it's like Carson Wentz 2017. Swear to God. Next year, give him a couple of more years and that guy's done.
I agree,
he's so
but
reckless.
He's bigger than most of the linebackers in the league also, and he's 6'5". But no,
Did
you're
you see
right.
one play he was running and he jumped and the guy was pulling from his leg? I'm surprised with that.
I'll tell you, I have the NFL package. What a weekend of football this was. there were some great endings of games. Every
That-
single, like, that was beautiful. I mean, the
Bills
Buffalo
Viking,
game
I'd
was
never seen a
unbelievable.
game like that before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the ending
Bills
game,
Vikings, that was
big.
incredible.
Yeah. Oh, it really was. That's without question. The
Josh,
game of the
I don't
year.
think Josh Allen can win you a Super Bowl. Did you see?
Oh,
It was the
it was
ball.
great.
He fumbled the ball, and they scored a touchdown. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
was
All,
Unreal.
all he had to do is basically run up the clock.
No, I know. All right, I'll tell you what. Let's do a commercial real quick. We're having a good one. We still have a little bit to talk about. All right, is your kitchen or bathroom outdated or in serious need of repair? Since 1987, Kitchen World offers the latest in custom, semi-custom, and even stock cabinetry. Our designers offer the absolute best in custom design, right down to the exquisite molding details. That's Kitchen World, with showrooms in Philadelphia, Bucks, and Montgomery counties. Call Burton to set up an appointment at 267-228-9875, or check us out at kitchen-worldinc.com. Okay. Indianapolis Colts this week. Do you have a line, Vahe? And if
It's
you
down
do,
to
what's
six.
it telling
It's
you?
down to 6 now. It's down to 6.
All right, so you figure that it's really maybe more like 9 because they're the visiting team. Is that correct?
What? No,
It would be 9 if they were home.
That would be
that's correct. If the Eagles were home, would be 9. But
Okay.
I'm worried because the thing is that I don't know whether Gannon has a plan how to stop the run, and also Goddard. I think Goddard being out is very, very big because he's a good blocker and also he's a good tight end catcher.
Now that's a good point. We did not talk about that now. What are they going to do with tight end now? Are they going to bring in that Tyree Jackson guy, the guy that Howie loved?
Alcantara.
Is he still on the team?
No, but wait.
Is he still on the team?
Yeah, they gave him a 21-day. I think it was starting a week and a half ago, maybe close to 2 weeks. They gave him 21 days. Is he healthy enough to be on the roster? I think he has to be put on the roster. He can't be put on the practice squad. I might be. It's a stretch. I might be wrong here, but I believe he has to be on the roster. If he's not on the roster, he has to be waived, and that or anyone can pick him up. But like the type of tight end he is, like put it this way, I think that Goddard has a little bit of Calcaterra and Jack Stahl in him. Stahl's a big, strong guy that's a good blocker, and Calcaterra is a guy that can stretch the field a little bit. So that's a good point. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with tight end. Are they going to bring one up? Or are they going to stay with 2? If they stay with 2, it's going to be, I guess, nothing more than, 1 tight end or 12 personnel in the field at one time. What do you guys think?
I think they have to have 2 tight ends on the field. One to block, the other one to catch.
Well, right. So does that mean that Stoll gets a lot of playing time? Are they
He
going to
has to.
grab a
Who else?
third guy?
Who else going to do the blocking?
Yeah, it's going to be Stolen Calcaterra. Those 2 guys are going to be in there.
Yep,
Probably
one to
in
block,
time.
and
Even
the
if
other
they
one
bring
to.
up that other guy, he's not going to get in any time. Maybe special teams if they need him.
Yeah. So
Oh.
it's 6 points. It's 6.
Talk about special team.
Why?
Britton Covey. Oh my, that guy!
He's-
I'm surprised he's still in the
He
league.
just runs into people.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
that
believe
guy's
it or
IQ
not,
probably like
He's
so
the
low.
He's the most unelusive guy I've ever seen in National Football.
you guys are too much. But
People
anyway,
didn't know what football was. It's like, what's he doing? Run into those people all the time.
I don't know.
Exactly,
Yeah,
he runs just into the game.
I think special teams period stinks.
Yep.
I mean, period. I think that's it. But I mean, let's look at this game from a tactical standpoint. Hopefully Sirianni has his team really pumped and pissed about what happened to them last week. Indianapolis, it's like their Super Bowl last week with a new coach, and they win the game with a brand new head coach, brand new offensive coordinator. I don't know who the hell was really calling the plays there. And that guy was like an assistant quarterback coach and a quality control coach more recently. And they pulled off an upset against the Raiders. So, I don't know.
The
I
Raiders
just-
suck.
I
The
think this
Raiders
is a-
suck.
They're
my
2-6. They were 2-6. They're 2-7 now.
yeah.
The,
who?
the Raiders. They're
Oh
terrible.
they are well, they're poorly coached. That McDaniel is a horrible head coach. He's a
Yeah.
very good play caller for a good head coach, but he's a horrible head coach. He got trashed in Denver when he had
Yeah.
Denver before too. So he wasn't that good, but I got a really good feeling about this game because I think the Eagles are going to be more than ready to play football. And Indianapolis is probably sky high right now because they won a game they absolutely had no business winning.
Why
I know
they're
that
playing
they got
against a
great
2-6
running attack.
team? They're playing against a 2-6 team. They're never playing against the Super Bowl win.
I know. Well, no, Indianapolis. I mean, the Raiders still have some pretty decent players, so I don't know, but I agree with you 100%. But we still have a little bit to talk about here because today is the day that we're going to go over all of our predictions before the season even started, and I have them all here.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you what, let's start with predictions. Let's go over our predictions for the games. Before the Houston game, I had 4 wins. Jimmy had 2, Vahe had 2, Will had 0. In the Houston game, the score of the Houston game was 29-17. All 4 of us had the Eagles winning. Will had them 38-6. That was really very close. That's where it was. I had a 24-7. Vahe had a 35-10. Jimmy had a 27-13. So to me, it's obvious Jimmy won.
Mhm.
He was by far the closest one. Okay. And then yesterday, I'm not even going to go over the scores because Washington won. Only one guy picked Washington, and that was Will, who I was going to say that he's going to wear a bag today because I was certain the Eagles are going to kick some ass, and that didn't happen. So Will won. Will won last week, and the week before was Jimmy. So as of now, I have 4 wins. Jimmy has 3. Will has 1. Vahe has 2. Before we go into the things that we discussed week 1 of our podcast this year, let's do predictions for this game. And Will, you won, so you are first. Unless you want Vahe to go first. And
No. I want Will to go because if I pick something, he's going to say I was going to pick those numbers. Will, you go.
I'm going Eagles 35, Colts 17.
Vahe,
35-17. I would go 35-24.
wow. I'll go next.
Vahe is smart. He always tries to undercut me a little bit.
35-24. I'll go 35-10. So we got
Whoa.
3 35s. And Jimmy?
I will go.
Pick the Colts. Pick the
I've
Colts.
gone Colts. I am. I did before.
Are you kidding me?
I think the Colts are going to beat them. I do.
What's the score?
24-20 Colts.
Wow.
Wow.
I could look like an idiot.
I can see
No,
it.
no, no.
Do you have any bags in your house, Jim?
I do. I'll wear one next week.
I'll say one thing. If the Eagles do lose this game, then I'm really gonna start worrying. I'm not as worried just because it was a divisional game. Anything can happen. We've seen them twice already. It's expected. Like, you're not gonna go undefeated. But if they lose this game, then I'm really gonna start, worrying about the team.
I think there's some shortcomings with this football team after what I saw. I think they're going to struggle in some games. The key is you really want to see them get number 1, win a division. Number 2, if they could get home field throughout the playoffs, that would be wonderful. And number 3, be healthy by the time they get to the playoffs. So right now they're dinged up a little bit, and hopefully they'll be able to get back these guys healthy. All right, now some of these predictions are really funny.
Mine are terrible.
We're only in week 9, and we had 3 different things that we talked about. The first thing I asked before even the Detroit game, this is before the opener. The first question was, give me a player who you thought was going to have a breakout year this year. Jimmy was Gainwell.
He
Yeah.
sucks.
All right. Will was Josh Sweat, and he said he will get double-digit sacks.
What's he got now?
2?
5?
No.
Yeah.
No.
He got
Look
around
it up.
5 sacks.
Look it up. The best is why. Jalen Rieger.
No way. Seriously?
What?
No,
He
no,
said-
no way.
Yes, I'll play it back for you. Jalen Rieger, because Hurts is going to really connect with him this year.
No way. See? No, that's
Oh,
you.
that-
That's you.
No, that was you. I'm telling you right now.
I
that
hated
is-
that guy.
You said Rieger. I'll play it back for you. That is absolutely bag worthy. I just cannot believe that.
I can't
When-
believe I said no way.
When
I
you
said
said it, next week, I'm gonna play it back for you. But when I listen, I had to hear it 3 times. I had to keep playing back 15 seconds. Did he really say what I thought he said? And then the 4th one was me, and I said Marcus Epps. Really, I guess there really isn't anybody really close. I guess you could say Sweat might be
He's
somewhat
got-
okay.
He's
How
got
among the
sacks?
4 losers that we picked, I guess.
How many sacks does he have?
he's got 3.5 with 1 forced fumble.
All right, he's got, which was yesterday. He did a strip sack. So, okay. So I'll give him a little bit, but I will tell you about Josh Sweat. For every sack he gets, the next 50 plays, he's not even mentioned, and he gets no
They
pressure.
don't put him out there as much.
I don't know. Is he a wide 9 guy? All right, now this one's really hilarious. The Golden Child.
Well,
Who
we
was
can
this
count
year?
you out. We can
Who-
count your guy out.
Who's this? Who was going to be this year's Golden Child? I'll start with Jimmy. Jimmy picked that guy that just has been on the field constantly, and he's just a real stud. And his name's always mentioned, that Cam Jurgens.
Yeah, I've been
Well-
brutal.
Well, another guy that's just been on the field constantly, never comes off. N'Kobe Dean.
They could have used him yesterday.
Right now, I guess.
We're thinking
I'll-
ahead to 2024, right, Will?
Yeah,
Or
maybe.
2023.
But mine
We're
is.
thinking ahead.
Mine's the most hilarious. I picked Britton Covey. So I guess that's really,
Me and Jimmy's guy is having a better season than Covey.
yeah, I'll listen. I'll give you that. I'll definitely give you that. And Vahe absolutely just went right to Jordan Davis. And he did have some spots of good luck. So at least your prediction on the Golden Child was much better than your prediction of the guy with the breakout year. So I would say that you might be ahead there. Okay, now the last thing was I asked for 3 predictions. Okay, of anything that could happen. Could be with the team, without the team, like in another team, the league, or coaches, whatever. Okay, I'll start with Will. Will said it's very obvious that by the end of the year, Hurts will not be the guy.
Well,
Wow.
you saw last week. It's only going down from here.
Well, okay, but the first 8 weeks, if we had this thing last week, it would have been bagworthy.
I'm still
The
holding
second-
to that.
Right. The second thing you said was that Sanders will break 1,000 yards, which is very possible, but for as little as he's been getting the football lately, I'm starting to wonder. And the last thing you said was that Josh Sweat is definitely going to have double-digit sacks. So I think maybe you got a shot here. All right. Now, Vahes is very interesting. Okay. Vahes said the Rams will be nowhere near as good
Mhm,
as they were last year, and Stafford's going to have a big-time down year.
mhm.
Number 2, Brady is not going to be that much, and compared to what he did in the past, he will have a bad year. And your third prediction was that the Eagles are going to the NFC Championship game. 3 pretty darn good predictions.
He's a prophet.
Yeah, yes, that's going to change his name to the Armenian prophet. we're
Well,
gonna
we'll
go to
see. I mean,
Jimmy.
the way they
Yeah.
played yesterday, maybe the NFC Championship game is like far-fetched now.
Right, now, we're going to go to Jimmy's. Jimmy, this is definitely bagworthy.
Yeah.
Sanders is absolutely 1,000 total yards from scrimmage. Total yards, you said. So I don't know if you meant running or
I said,
Altogether,
I don't think he might get under 900. I
What do
said,
you?
well,
I
I
just
thought
looked-
I didn't hear that. I thought maybe you're right. I thought I heard 1,000, but
I said under
900.
900 is even worse.
All right, here's
Real-
a better
Real quick,
one.
real quick though. I
Yeah.
just looked up Miles Sanders' stats, his rushing yards. What do you guys think he has so far, halfway through
About
the season?
650.
600, 600.
710,
Well, he's
Wow.
there. He's getting
and we
there.
don't even use him.
Yeah,
We
and,
don't
he's-
even use him.
and they still have 8 games left. All right, your second prediction. This is an all-time classic. All the teams in the AFC West will be at least 500 or above.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Are you sure you didn't mean 500 or
I
below?
went to him. I should have said the NFC East, right?
Yeah, and then the last thing you said is that you don't think the Eagles are going to exceed expectations because of the quarterback.
Wow.
You got a lot of work to do here, Jim, to
Yeah.
get that going. All right, now my predictions are not bad, but not great either. I said that more than 50% I said at least 50% of the games this year that Nakobe Dean will be inactive. Well, he's been active every game, but he's never been on the field. So
That's another. I mean, why?
because the linebackers have been playing pretty good.
Well, but not the last 3 weeks. Can't stop the run.
Do you think we'll
Yeah.
start seeing him more?
You
starting
should,
next week,
because I
maybe?
think
Maybe you
he's
will.
dynamic. He's
Like
dynamic.
maybe we start seeing him more, a little bit more. They switch
I bet.
up, or
I bet
I-
you they're getting in everybody's ear in the film room, and they're gonna tell them, if you guys don't start making plays, we got guys here that can get in.
Well, do you think it's more the
drafted
linebackers or the defensive line?
It's all of them. Those
It's all of
those 2 units, they do everything together.
Yeah,
They do
look at
blitz.
look at
They do
Parsons. I mean, he's all over the place. He's a linebacker. He's all over the place.
when they do the run fits in practice, they're together. Those 2 units go hand in hand.
Okay.
Exactly.
I'll give you
Exactly.
that one. But anyway, I said Nakobe Dean will 50% of the games will be inactive, which is false, but he's never in the games. Number 2, I said Fletcher Cox will not be on this team by mid-year. We're at mid-year right now.
Well, he's
And the way
physically in, but mentally he's not in.
No, but you know what? Wouldn't it be funny if they cut him like this week? And that would be 100% correct then. And then the last thing I said is that I felt like TJ Edwards was going to be the MVP of this football team this year. So that's where we're at. I mean, some of them were a little outlandish. I mean, I think anything happens in this football in the NFL football.
Mhm.
You don't know. I mean, it's just I don't know. It's second guessing. It's all second guessing, even from the coach's point of view. But before we wrap this up, we've been on for a while now, almost an hour. Any last minute thoughts?
They better win this Sunday.
I think
they better.
I will say this. I think they're going to explode this week. So I'm going to say.
Maybe on
sure.
the offense, but I don't know about the defense. I mean, I'm still not sold on the philosophy of Gannon philosophy.
I'm telling
Okay.
you, if they lose this week, this whole second half of the season is going to be real ugly.
are you guys worried at all about the second half? The team. I mean, we got some tough games coming up, don't you think?
Yeah, we got Dallas.
I mean,
we got
we're
Giants,
we're
Jays, the
they're in a
Packers.
they're in a good spot. I mean, obviously we're 8-1, but the second half of the season's definitely tougher than the first.
For me, it's not the personnel, it's the coaching. I mean, for whatever reason, I mean, they're not being able. I mean, at one point, they were utilizing everybody's strength, but maybe yesterday was an anomaly. Hopefully, it's an anomaly, but it was very disheartening yesterday's game. They didn't
Yeah.
show up to play at all.
Yeah.
Do you think that's like if they added a veteran coach, he would help in that area? Do you think they need something like that since it's relatively a young staff, or no?
I think so. I mean, but Gannon, he's so passive. Even when he sits for an interview, he's like he has this arrogance about him that, I know so much that I don't need to basically explain to you what my philosophy is. And
Yeah.
guys like that rub me the wrong way. I don't know. I mean, it
No, I
just
agree.
pissed me off.
He told us last year he doesn't have a philosophy or a scheme. They asked him. They said, "What scheme do you run?" He says, "Oh, I don't have one."
Well, he's not going to tell you. Of course, he has one. Talks
Yeah,
football
he's
24/7.
play,
We didn't
prevent,
watch him for a
defense.
year and a half. Can't-
Yeah, but
I
you know
don't see
what? You
any-
play the scheme. I think that dictates according to the type of players that you have. So I don't know. I mean, if you look at the numbers, their defense, I mean, point wise, they've given up a lot less points than they have last year. And I know they have better players, but I think the scheme up to this point has been okay. They played I don't care about who they played. They played NFL football teams through the first 9 weeks. They have won 8 games, which is pretty darn good in my book. And the defense up to this point has played pretty good, pretty darn good, a lot better than last year. But I'm starting to see some leaking in the defense. Not so much the offense, but I'm seeing some. The defense has me concerned. It's not so much the coaching. I think a little bit of it might be personnel.
This is the second week in a row that the run defense they've saved. Even with Houston. Houston is the worst team, right?
Yeah.
And they ran all over them.
And they're playing a running back that had the most yards in the NFL last year. But their offensive line is not that good. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, let's wrap this up. Another one in the books. Thanks so much for, I guess, the 2 people that actually catch us on YouTube or Spotify. Flying High with the Birds, Philadelphia Eagles talk. See ya.
See you guys.
Guys.
See ya.
See you later.
Yeah.